Started look at the Muri building. It is gleaming, beautiful day. Who's that?
This is Margaret Darrow.
You are a permafrost researcher, is that fair to say?
I do frozen ground engineering.
Frozen ground engineering. So what a time to do your work. Like at the time when most permafrost is thawing throughout the Arctic, they need things built and sustained, bridges and roads and buildings, and people need houses to live in. That's up to you.
You summarize that quite nicely, yes. One of the things that I'm pretty excited to talk about today is our UAF Frost Lab, which stands for Frozen Soil Testing Lab. And I'm putting that together with Dr. Matthew Bray, who also does soil testing on creep, basically creep of frozen soil. So as the soil warms, it starts to move, and it can start moving even though it hasn't hit 0 degrees Celsius yet. It's still frozen. And so then we start to see slope instabilities. It will affect the soil strength when you build on it. It goes into play in thermal models. It changes the temperature. For example, there'll be unfrozen water content at warmer temperatures close to 0. So we have in this new testing facility, we're putting together in the new engineering, learning and innovation facility, eLife. We have capacity to do creep testing, unfrozen water content measurements, frost heave testing, and we're putting together a frozen triaxial test. We also can do thermal conductivity measurements.
Frozen triaxial test?
Yeah.
That sounds very scientific.
Well, and the important thing about all these tests is that they have to have super sensitive or precise temperature control. That's really important for anything that's frozen soil.
And you can get that down in the new facility.
Yeah, with our systems.
Beautiful
building. And we had the capacity to do many of these tests, but they were squirreled away in different different rooms in the basement of the Deckering building. So now we put them all together, and it just feels ferocious, like we can accomplish a lot.
I have a little side question for you. Some of these science acronyms are so cool. Do you get the acronym first and then make the words fit in there? Or do you come up with the things first and then the acronym comes later?
So it turns out that frost has been taken by other people first, but it really should have been frozen soil testing first. That's my opinion. And that made sense. I thought of Frozone. I thought that would be pretty cool. But it turns out that's an action figure, a superhero.
Yes, from Incredibles.
Yeah.
You can go see Incredibles 2 this summer coming out.
Yeah, I didn't know that before I started looking into it. But yeah.
So, I mean, it's fun. You're a great personality. It's very lighthearted. We can have a chat. But the work that you do is so serious. I mean, it is life-threatening, the things that are happening. You built a house decades ago. You had no idea what was coming with climate change and things like that. Does it keep you up at night, the work that you do, the importance of the work that you do?
I try not to let it keep me up at night, but it is true that we're seeing more and more effects of the permafrost thawing. Especially, I do field work up in the Brooks Range, and slopes are moving everywhere. And slopes that were stable not too many decades ago, they're all coming down.
And there's nothing really that can be done by humans. You can't build like a barrier or something?
Well, in some of the for some of the infrastructure, I think we could design it in such a way that would help to keep the ground cool, but that's all money. It comes down to money. We do have techniques. People have been looking at these things for quite a few years, and so they do have techniques developed, but it's a matter of the cost involved.
So the open house today is also part of Alaska National Lab Day, and so policymakers from all over the country are coming to be here. What's it like to actually get to talk to the policymakers and be like, hey, listen to me, listen to my research?
I think that's pretty cool. It'll be nice to find out what they do in their labs, and get to know people on a face-to-face basis. It makes them more tangible, less scary.
And likewise for you.
Oh, sure. I'm formidable. Yeah, I'm scary.
Well, you are. You say that, but I have seen. Don't mess with Dr. Darrow.
Oh, gosh.
That's all. So you're presenting a poster in there, and people come into the open house. What can they just come up and talk to you at random? Do they have to talk to you? Can they read your poster without engaging with you?
Yep, that's exactly right. I'll be standing there. I'm sure the other people presenting posters will be standing by their posters as well, and I'd be happy to talk to anybody who's interested. And I have 2 of them, so in either the contents of either one of them.
I'll probably add a link to this video that we're doing right now for some of your other outreach
Ah.
activities, which are very, very entertaining.
Yes.
Shall we say? Do you have another one? Is there a scoop? Have you worked on another music video that's about to drop?
There is potentially one in the works if the weather holds this summer. We were going to do it last summer, and the weather was just so bad when we were in the field. I did not feel like rapping. But maybe this summer will be different.
Great. Well, I will, again, for our people who are watching and curious, I'll post a link in there so they can see what we're talking about. Thank you very much for taking a couple of minutes to talk. I'll let you get back in there and put your poster.